All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Medvedev. Thank you for joining me on the 10th episode of One to Come Up, a podcast for aspiring entrepreneurs where they can learn from the best of the best, those on Forbes 30 under 30, those entrepreneurs who have made that journey, have risen to the top, and have won. So thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks, Danny, for reaching out and having me. I'm honored to be the 10th.
The 10th one, double digits now.
There you go. Now it's getting serious, huh?
Yep. Now I've crossed the Rubicon. There's no going back from
Now you
there.
can't stop. Yeah, now you gotta keep going.
Nah, I got too much forward momentum. I got an audience base that wants some, that expects some every
There you go.
Friday night. Anyway, so I guess like before we get started, could you tell the people about like Earth Brands? So everybody's on the same page. Maybe some have heard, some haven't heard, but so everybody's on the same page. What is Earth Brands?
Sure. Yeah. So 4 years ago, when I was at Williams College and I played tennis there, my best friend, Peter Freelingheisen, he's my co-founder now. We started Earth Brands. We came up with the idea to replace plastic solo cups on college campuses. So pretty simple. We recognize that there were thousands, millions, hundreds of millions, and actually billions being used every single year on campuses. You see them everywhere. And we also knew that they weren't recyclable, which is a common misconception. So that when they end up in a recycling bin, they just end up getting filtered out at the recycling facility and just thrown out. And we also, in our dining halls at Williams, we realized that there was this plant-based cup that we were, being served water with. Um, and it had all these green markings on it. It said I'm plant-based. It said compost me. It said turn me into soil. And we were like, wow, this looks like and feels like a plastic material, but clearly it's plant-based and it's advertising itself as being more sustainable. How come all solo cups aren't made out of that material? So that's kind of what sparked the idea. We went down the rabbit hole of researching the material, researching manufacturers. How do we make a cup out of this material? Um, and in 2021, we put the pieces together. We finally launched Earth Cups, which was our first product, a plant-based solo cup, essentially. We started selling to college students, friends of friends. The one liquor store in Williams College started carrying some. We sold to some frats at Cornell, Tulane, and we started getting pictures. We started building a cool, fun brand. People would pose with the Earth Cups. People would love it. They would love the story. They would send us pictures. We would post about it. And that's how we grew sort of a grassroots movement. Um, and fast forward to today, 4 years later, we've expanded to Earth brands. So not just Earth Cups. We sell now a lot to the food service world. So breweries, bars, stadiums, festivals, hotels, airlines, our plant-based cups. And we've expanded our product portfolio to everything else now, plates, bowls, lids, straws, all food service items that are made from sustainable materials. A big focus for us is customization. So we do a lot of custom cups for companies and for frats and for whoever wants to help them tell that story of, hey, this is not just a plastic cup, but this is a plant-based cup. It's an earth cup. And really, our vision and our mission long term is to lead the global transition to sustainable products. And how we're going to do that and what that means is we really want to make sustainable products more affordable and more accessible to get for businesses and consumers. We're going to do that by building a brand, by making it really cool, and by fully vertically integrating, making the stuff ourselves, branding it ourselves, and then distributing it ourselves to the end customers. So that's Earth Brands in a couple sentences.
I like that you're gonna conquer the Earth in a sustainable way.
Shortly put, yeah.
Yep, you're gonna conquer vertically integrate from ground up, I guess, to the air and whatnot. So, so that's really cool. That also that you were a D1 athlete, which is like a dream for like many people, and that's also where you met your co-founders. So, what's it like as a D1 athlete? Because I mean, that's like what everybody aspires, what every high school kid aspires to be.
Sure. So D3, um,
Ah,
Williams College
yeah,
was D3, but still incredibly high level.
yeah,
In D3, we were competing for the national championship. We were among the top schools in in the tennis world in D3, so that was really exciting. I played tennis my entire life. So did my parents. So tennis has always been in my blood. Same with my co-founder Peter. He's played since he's been a little kid, and it's awesome. I mean, you're a part of a team. You're, on a tennis team in college. It's your immediate group of friends. It's where you can be yourself, and you got to balance athletics with academics, right? You got to make sure you're getting good grades, but then in the afternoons or early mornings, you're going to the gym, you're practicing, you're giving it all. So yeah, it was so rewarding. It was an amazing time. Unfortunately, we had COVID, so that ruined two of our seasons. But apart from that, it was the best memories.
that's sick. So, yeah, I just mentioned COVID there, and that's obviously not a good time for to start like one of your companies, like that Red Soda Cup kind of company. Um, so how'd you guys start? How'd you because you have an interesting story, with raising your fundraising and with your investors there. So how was that kind of like initial like I guess starting inception?
Yeah. Well, when we first started, rather when we first came up with the idea, right? The coconut hit us on the head. We were like, boom, solo cups that are plant-based. Like we didn't know what we were doing, right? We didn't know where to start. We didn't know who to call. We didn't even know how to incorporate a company, raise a dollar. Like we didn't know anything. Also because Williams College doesn't have any entrepreneurship classes or business school. It's just not what we were learning. But internet's your friend, right? So we started Googling like the material. We started calling composting facilities. We really leveraged the alumni network. We would randomly call random alum, being like, "Hey, I got this idea. Do you know anyone who might help us out? Figure out how to even help us even think through this idea." We would talk to so many people a day. We would pitch it. We would learn. We would hear from others where we should focus, where we shouldn't. Um, and actually, originally, the idea for Earth Cups, it was we wanted to be a nonprofit, actually. So we started a GoFundMe and we were like, we're going to raise some money and we're going to get the whole world to donate to us so we could take down Solo Cup, right? And we raised like 5 grand to help us fund like the first order. But then someone told us, hey, if you actually want to take down Solo Cup, you might want to do this for profit because then you could grow more quickly and you can raise capital. And that's how we started learning about raising money and being private, but like growing more quickly. Um, and then finally, when it came down to like raising money, it was really until the very last moment did we wait to do everything, to incorporate the company, to raise money. I mean, we really fleshed out the idea. We really were scrappy. We worked as long and as hard as we can without raising money, or doing anything legally. And then we finally had to raise money for two reasons. One was because we had to buy machines. We were like, we're going to make these cups ourselves in the US. And two, to let our moms let us do this full time after college. So that was that. And we same thing, called alumni, emailed random people on LinkedIn, and again, we just learned conversation after conversation, like how to raise the money. Okay, what's a safe note? Okay, boom, like can this alum give us this money, but he wants these crazy terms, and it was just all a learning process. So yeah.
Word. So you also got a kind of like a cool story there with you had met with an angel investor and you had like spoken with him and he knew this mysterious guy and then you know what I'm talking. Yeah, that was kind of what I was alluding to. But
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. I mean, that's one of those moments that Peter and I will never forget, right? Like every like talking to that guy and to I guess I could share, what it was.
yeah,
Basically, we were emailing, we called every alumni that Williams had, and so now we're like, we're out of
yeah,
alumni. We're gonna start just hitting up on LinkedIn random people that had the title angel investor, and some people didn't even have a profile picture or a bio, but it just said angel investor.
yeah. That's good enough.
And so we were like, Angel Investor, great. We scrape, the internet to grab their emails through these tools or whatever, and we would email thousands at a time. One random guy got back to us and said, "Hey, I'll give you 5 minutes of my time on Tuesday, and if you impress me, I will introduce you to someone." And just even saying it sounds so cryptic, but that's literally
Yeah.
probably, verbatim what it was. And we said, sure thing, we'll take you up on it. We'll talk to you Tuesday morning. We had that conversation. We did our best, right? He literally hung up after 10 minutes. And then the next day, a Mark Cuban went on our website and bought a pack of 50 Earth Cups.
Wow.
And I remember getting the notification and I was like, there's like what? Like there's no way this is it. And I sent it to Peter. He laughs. I sent it to my high school buddies in the group chat. They're like, haha, that was me. We're just, screwing with you. And long story short, again, it ended up being Mark Cuban. And then the next day, that guy introduced us to Mark Cuban over email. And we kind of started having conversations with Mark Cuban, and he was, the first investor.
That's pretty sick, man. How much did he invest? Like real quick.
Um, keep that.
Can you disclose that?
Yeah, we can't disclose that at
Uh,
the time, but he led essentially our first funding round, and incredibly thankful. He gave us really he started the snowball. He gave us the confidence for us, for other investors, and really helped us do this full time for sure.
Word. So, how'd you guys grow? Because I think you're actually the youngest person I've had on this podcast, and you're also like, the first B2C company that I've had on this podcast. So, like, how was that growing phase there from, you've raised capital and, to grow the company? Like, what were you doing?
For sure. Well, look, I think we're still definitely growing a lot and learning a lot. I think we've also made an enormous amount of mistakes. Just naturally being young with zero experience and wrong left and right turns, but always got back to the center. Um, and in our business, it's first of all, it's a physical good. So it's inventory. You need cash to buy the inventory. It's expensive to ship, right? And when you're selling cups that nobody wants to pay a pretty penny for, right? It's considered maybe a commodity. You really got to figure out the economics there, the unit economics for it to make sense for the business and for the customer. So yeah, we grew in the early days, definitely not exponentially. It was definitely slow growing pains, trying to get some customers, get them to commit to a certain amount of time, to a certain amount of cups over a period of time, try to collect money first and pay vendors later. So it was all these learnings that we're still going through. But of course, again, the funding helped, right? So funding does help when you need to hire people, when you need to delegate some work, when you need to hire people that are smarter than you at different things to help you get this off the ground.
Word. So, you had kind of like gotten into a sorority first, I know, and then you like spread to like frats and sororities. So, have you guys kind of built like a little bit of a community with all, the sororities and fraternities? And are you like trying to get into those now, or?
Definitely. So again, when we first started, we wanted to be the frat cup, right?
Yeah.
And we would sell to frats, or we would give cups for free to frats in the very early days, and then we would sell to frats, and then we'd sell to sororities, and then we realized, wait, frats use way more cups than sororities, and so we were like, nah, let's pivot again. And in the early days, and still to today, a really big core principle for us is the focus on the college market and the next generation, right? I mean, in the early days, we would say we want to make sustainability cool, and we're all about the next generation, the next generation. I'm going to get older, but there's always going to be a sea of college students. So we want to inspire them, and we want to make sure Earth Cups are as easily, as accessible, and as affordable as they can be for them. So in 5 years, the freshmen in college don't even know what a solo cup is. So, of course, frats and sororities and teams and clubs are definitely a focus because, again, 6 billion solo cups are used on college campuses every year. if we can focus on the clubs and the students themselves and making it a more affordable to get them Earth Cups and build an ambassador program, build campus manager programs, incentivize them, have them give them leadership opportunities to help grow Earth Cups on their own campuses. That's really how we start to, build this big network.
Word. So, like as I had mentioned before, you're also like the youngest person I've had on the podcast. And what's that like to be such like a young entrepreneur and having, to I guess like meet with older people, more experienced people, and also do you like kind of think that the business landscape's changing from, those older people like with more experience and those older, bigger monoliths to now like younger people and these startups?
Sure. Well, I think, yeah, I mean, I still think to today, like whether it's investors or vendors or companies we work with or customers, for the most part, everyone we're talking to is older than us.
Yeah,
Um, it has more experience in every field. And here we are trying to come in and kind of create something completely new, offer something completely new. And so everyone we talk to, first and foremost, we have an enormous amount of respect for. Doesn't matter if they're an investor or a customer or a vendor or whatever. Secondly, we always try to learn something. And third of all, we're always curious. We're always asking questions similar to everyone, to investors, to our board members, to our customers. Hey, do you like your current cups? Why not? How can we help you? Right? Um, Now, the second part of the question, I think, is, what I would say is today, I really think this, it's easier than ever to get information to anything. I mean, when we started 3.5 years ago or 4 years ago, there was no ChatGPT. And
yeah.
God, I wish there was, right? And you bet your butt we use it every single day now and leverage the most out of it. So I think young kids today and whatever, high school kids, college kids, people in their 20s should never be discouraged of like, oh, I don't have this experience, so I can't do this. I mean, you have Google, you could have a phone, you have ChatGPT, you can get access and find out anything you want. Um, so I don't know if that answers that.
No, that was a good answer there. And yeah, there is like, so many opportunities and just so easy to learn and all that. So, what was your year in 2024? Because you are like a young company, you're like, 3 years old, 3, 4 years old. So, 2024 was kind of like where you started going exponentially. So, what was that year like for you? Because I know you started a lot of new initiatives. You opened up a plant. You got a ton of people. What was
Yeah.
that like?
Well, 2024 was a really great year for us. 2025 is going to be even better. 2024 for us was really a foundation building year. We set up our facility in Kansas called Earth Base, right? We got our machines up and running there where we make and print logos on cups. We've built EarthStore, .com, right? EarthStore.com, which is kind of our mini Amazon for the sustainable food service industry, right? So going back to making it more affordable and more accessible to get plant-based products, those are your two things right there, Earth-Base and EarthStore. So we really set that up in 2024, and now it's time to really scale. Now it's time to get every business, every consumer, every household on EarthStore and start making all the products we can in Earth Base and soon Earth Bases across the country. Continue to grow the college program, get into more frats and sororities and clubs through our ECA program. So the ECA program, Earth Cups Alliance, is actually we made this program about a year ago where students can get access to Earth Cups for 3 cents a cup, which
Damn.
is half the cost of what solo cups are. And the way we do that is we partner with innovative, awesome companies where they offset the cost and we put their logo on it. And it's kind of like a win-win for all. College students get Earth Cups with a cool company's logo on it. Cool company gets to promote their brand or what their service is to college students across the country. And we're displacing solo cups. So we've got all these initiatives that we started last year, and this year is like where we're going to really blow up.
Word. That's kind of sick that you're taking down solo cups, and then who knows what's going to follow from that. So what's your marketing been like? Because has it been all organic? And because also, like I mentioned, you're the youngest and also only B2C company that I've had on here. So what's your marketing been like? Has it been organic marketing, through sponsorships or whatever?
Yeah, so we've done, in the early days and still today, a lot of our marketing is organic, right? So again, going back to a couple questions ago, but when we were in college, when we were seniors in college, Peter and I turned to ourselves and we are like, hey, why don't we have, an ambassador program? I mean, we've got all these kids using Earth Cups, sending us pictures of Earth Cups, them posing with it. They clearly love the idea and the initiative. Why don't we create like an ambassador program where kids can be on their campus and promote Earth Cups, whatever. We posted a TikTok and overnight, uh, over 1,000 signups. On
Wow.
a form. We got kids all, I mean, the TikTok blew up, thankfully, but like so many kids signed up to to be this ambassador program. So that was the start of like this movement, this network effect, right? This whole idea of building an organic community. But to this day, we don't spend money on ads, actually. So we don't spend money really on TikTok ads or whatever. And we really just try to promote everything organically and then do some cool partnerships with maybe stadiums, maybe events, right, to help them promote Earth Cups, right? We want to go into a partnership together with a cool brand and say, hey, we're attacking this challenge together, or we're partnering up with this cool person or brand because they love sustainability and Earth Cups. So
Sick. So, I mean, you're like 25 now and you've already done so much. Like, where do you think you're gonna go from here? Like, what's 2025 looking like?
yeah, so really exciting. I mean, it's only been 22 days into 2025. It feels like
Yeah.
a year already, which is a good thing. And like I said, we really think this year is the year where we're gonna really, really take off. Let's talk again in a year and see if I was right. But we're gonna get into more stadiums. We're gonna get into bigger companies. We're talking some really exciting gyms and breweries and coffee shops. We're gonna expand our product portfolio. We're gonna expand our manufacturing capabilities in the US. Um, Expand the ambassador, head ambassador, ECA program, and again, just keep going towards our mission, right? Which again is to kind of lead the global transition to sustainable products and just make sustainable products more accessible and more affordable. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but we're really focusing on building our brand. We want to build a really cool, fun, sexy brand that eventually will be a household name.
Sick. So like, I mean, it really does seem like you're gonna blow up this year, and I'm glad that I got you a little bit before now. Um, so like, what are your like biggest challenges? Because now you're cheaper than red plastic solo cups, and like you're making it super easy, to the door delivering it. So like, what are your biggest challenges? Like, why would people not buy it?
Yeah, so we're definitely cheaper for the college students, right? Because we've got that really cool program where we partner with companies who offset the costs and whatnot. Um, and we are cheaper, in some ways in the food service world, but in other products or in some products, we're possibly a bit more expensive than traditional plastic, which is granted and okay because we are using higher quality materials that are better for the environment and just generally higher quality. Um, so yeah, I mean, wait, say it again one more time. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it was kind of like just a general lame question, but like, why would like somebody not buy it because you're cheaper, you're
Oh,
getting.
sure, sure. Yeah, no, so there's your answer. Like sometimes we are and sometimes we're not. And a lot of times some people still actually just don't care,
Yeah.
right? So some people also are just kind of stuck in their old traditional ways of purchasing food service items or are used to their consumer habits of, hey, just grabbing a solo cup off the shelf, right? And we want to not break those habits, but again, we want to make it easy. We want to make it easy for a mom in the summer to buy a pack of 50 Earth Cups. We want to make it really easy for a stadium or a coffee shop to switch to a fully recycled cup or a plant-based cup. Um, so it's all about that again, easeability and accessibility. And that's what our sales team does. We go out there, we try to find customers to partner with and pitch them the story and how really Earth Cups can also do good for their business. If a coffee shop starts to use Earth Cups and their consumers notice that, they're going to love it. That's helping the coffee shop's brand. Hey, this place only uses Earth Cups, sustainable plant-based cups, and that's great. So sometimes it's an investment too for these companies.
Yeah. Now, what are your biggest challenges facing here? Is it like, on the production of it, getting it cheaper, or is it, just like partnerships?
Yeah. I mean, I think our biggest challenges are just, sometimes organic growing pains. I mean, we are, Peter and myself, we're dealing with every aspect of the company, right? And so it's whether it's accounting issues, whether the machine breaks for a day, whether this customer wants to switch their logo overnight and we got to deal with that. There's always stuff that comes up. Another key learning for us in the last year is the most important um, thing in running a company, growing a company is the people. And the company is only as good as its weakest person. And so finding really good talent, A+ people that believe in your mission, that want to help you grow, that are invested, that's not easy to do. That's just a time-consuming process. So this year we're really going to focus on like really cultivating the team, growing the team, and doing that exceptionally well.
That sounds really dope. So we're kind of like at the half hour point where I like to keep, the podcast and episode lengths. And, we've gone over your entire past, present day, a little bit into the future, 2025, we're going to take over the world, save the world in the process. So what's 5 years going to be looking like, 2030? I mean, the Red Solo Cup will be taken down. What are you going to be doing then?
Yeah. So no more solo cups. Nobody even knows what they are. We've got earth bases across the country that where we manufacture products of all sorts and we distribute them directly to customers through earthstore.com. And long term, we've got even more exciting plans, which we do a little bit now. So if you think about fully vertically integrating,
Yeah.
right, we're going to make our own products. We're going to put our own logo on our own products and brand them. We're going to distribute our own products to our end customers, again, through Earth Store and the tech that we're building for Earth Brands. And then eventually, how cool would it be if we can collect all the cups back from a stadium and turn them into new cups, or collect the cups and ensure that they get composted properly? Or what about eventually having our own material science department where we can invent new materials that break down even faster and just invent new products that are higher quality and that are proprietary to Earth Brands? So longer term, we're just going to keep vertically integrating, keep going along towards our mission of constantly making it more affordable, more accessible, and cooler to get more and more sustainable products.
That's pretty sick. Even just talking to you, I'm not in college myself. I've never had a red Solo cup, but like I'm already joining the community here a little bit.
Oh
I
man,
already want to join it.
let's do
So
it.
I mean, maybe that's your next target base, like high school students. We have a little bit of parties. Anyway,
Right.
thank you for talking to me. I mean, this has been a pretty dope episode. Been pretty chill. So thank you.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Danny, for having me. And on the up we go, right? On the up or one up or
One
what?
one to come up, yeah. It's
We're
kind
on
of
the
like
come up.
on the come up. It's like
Right.
that
We're
little easy song, on the come up.
on the come up. Right.
Yeah, it's like the little easy. And then one, I just added the E, slight derivative, and then it's a homophone for WON.
Got it. Right.
Yeah, because you already kind of won because you're at the top, but you're still on the come up because you're
We're
expanding.
we're we're on the come up. We're on the come up and we're gonna win. There you go.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Good.
Word. All right, so thank you, man.
Cool. Thanks, Danny.